this building. Don't need to explain to all you folks, but one thing that we need to do is to try to explain to the people who don't know. And I would like to think that when we get out into the public arena and we see people who don't know the facts about fishing, that we explain it to them. You know, people who come down to the docks in the summertime, the tourists, take the time to explain to them what's being done to this industry, how this organization or this agency is basically dismantling it piece by piece, and without any legal authority to do it, without any, the violation of our constitutional rights being trampled on daily. We've got cowards for politicians that won't step up to the plate. You know, we call them, we ask them to do things, simple things that they know that need to be done, yet they won't do. Right now, we're trying to get Brian Rothschild in as a deputy administrator for NOAA to put some balance into that place down there. And we know that Jane Lubchenco doesn't want him in there because he'll turn that place upside down. They don't want him there because he wants to seek the truth. But it's very important, and it's probably one of our biggest issues, that we get Brian Rothschild in that position. I strongly suggest that everybody leaves here today, that they go out and they write a letter in support of Brian, or they call their congressional delegation or their mayors or whatever. Anybody that's in charge, the people in Washington, send a letter to the goddamn president. Who cares? This man needs to be in there because the balance of the administration is being skewed so badly towards these green wet jobs, for lack of a better term, the green Kool-Aid drinking, the eco-terrorists, if you want to. But it truly is. I mean, Jane Lubchenco is stacking the deck. She's putting all her cronies in positions to dictate to us. They've got the power. They've got the bully pulpit. They've got the president that'll stand behind them. And we need to stop this. This cannot be allowed to stand. This is not democracy. We need to get someone down there that will balance that place out. And believe me, they don't want him there. We need to do everything that we can. The other thing, like Jimmy Lundgren was saying, we need to support the NMFS survey, the Northeast Area Management Plan. That is critical. The science that generates is so much better than what the nonsense that comes off of these government platforms. It has to be supported. We've got to get our delegations together to raise some money for that. The politicians love to throw money at things. They see a problem, that's all they want to do is throw money at it. I say keep your money, give it to somebody who needs it. All we want to do is work. Keep your goddamn money. We don't want your money. Let us go to work. Put the money towards the research that makes sense, and let us get going. This is insanity. I just wanted to bring some other points up. They're talking now about turning some gear-restricted areas down in the mid-Atlantic region into marine protected areas. We're talking about closed areas hundreds of miles long. This is something new that's just come out. Where this comes from is beyond comprehension. There's something that we need to be watching very closely. This is one of Jane Lubchenco's favorite things. They call her Lockdown Lubchenco on the West Coast.
We call her No Lubchenco.
But that's what she has done on the West Coast. She's closed down vast areas of ocean to anything. The area that they're proposing now is where probably 80% of our income comes from. The guys that aren't ground fishing. It's not a ground fish issue, but we're all in this together. We all sink and swim by her decisions. If she's allowed to do this there, she'll be allowed to do it anywhere she wants. This is, this is another issue that needs to be watched. The science, Trollgate, all that nonsense we all know about. The Office of Law Enforcement. Nobody's talked about the Office of Law Enforcement and their injustices, and how they've handled people and what they've done and trampled their constitutional rights. How we've had millions of dollars in fines over paperwork violations. It's a travesty. It's a travesty in this country when a Marine Corps retiree commits suicide. He owned a business in New York. He committed suicide because of the fines that were imposed on him by National Marine Fisheries Service over paperwork violations. Yes, he broke the law. Yes, he did something wrong. He was charged $1.1 million in fines. It made it so he could not, his business was no longer viable. This is a true story, folks.
How do they sleep at night?
This is a true story that needs to be told. That man was a great guy. He had a store, stand in Fulton Market. He's one of the few guys that you could call down there and get a straight story from, find out what was going on. One day he decided that he had had enough. He couldn't compete because of the fines. He took a ride to his vacation property in Pennsylvania, called us home and said, I'm not going to be coming home. And then he shot himself. He shot himself because he couldn't compete anymore. He couldn't deal with the fines. He couldn't deal with the bullshit. And that's just what we're dealing with.